Emperor Go-Daigo briefly restored imperial rule through the Meiji Restoration in 1333, but was soon defeated by Shogun Ashikaga Takauji and fled south. After defeating Ashikaga Takauji in small units in 1336, Emperor Go-Daigo established a new dynasty called the Nancho. In 1392, Emperor Go-Kameyama, the third emperor of the Southern Court, Nancho, handed over the imperial regalia of Japan to reconcile with the Northern Court and returned to Kyoto. This event marked the end of the Nanboku-cho period. In 1467, Ashikaga Yoshimasa, the eighth shogun of the Muromachi shogunate, faced a major dilemma regarding the selection of his successor. He wanted to appoint his son Yoshihisa as his successor, but Yoshihisa was still young and inexperienced. On the other hand, within the shogunate, there were many factions supporting Yoshikatsu, Yoshimasa's younger brother. As a result, the Shugo daimyos, provincial lords, became divided into two factions, each supporting a different successor. This division eventually led to the outbreak of the Onin War. This conflict among the daimyos, ignited by the succession issue, intensified over time and eventually led to the onset of the Sengoku period, the Warring States period. In 1573, Oda Nobunaga, who had ascended in Kyoto, deposed the shogun and brought about the downfall of the Muromachi shogunate. In 1582, just as he was on the verge of unifying the nation, he was attacked by his retainer Akechi Mitsuhide at the temple Honnoji and died, the incident at Honnoji.
Afterwards, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Oda's retainer who took over his power, ended over a century of turmoil and unified the Japanese archipelago in 1590.
In 1592, having unified Japan, Toyotomi Hideyoshi launched an invasion of Joseon Korea to address internal discontent and fulfill his own ambitions, the Onin War. However, due to the great performance of Great Admiral Lee Sun-shin, the activities of the Joseon Righteous Army militia, and support from the Ming Dynasty, the subjugate of Joseon failed, and Toyotomi Hideyoshi left behind a 5-year-old son when he died in 1598. Upon Toyotomi Hideyoshi's death, Tokugawa Ieyasu, who had preserved his own power by refusing to send troops to Joseon Korea, raised an army in rebellion against the Toyotomi clan. Tokugawa Ieyasu defeated the Toyotomi forces at the Battle of Sekigahara and established a new shogunate in his stronghold of Edo, Tokyo. In 1603, the Edo shogunate.
In 1853, while the Edo shogunate, Tokugawa shogunate, had been ruling Japan for over 250 years, 4 American warships appeared off the coast of Japan. This event, known as the arrival of the Black Ships, became a pivotal moment that fundamentally changed the course of Japanese history.
Admiral Perry, leading this fleet, demanded the opening of Japan through a show of force. As a result, the Edo shogunate abandoned its 200-year policy of national isolation and signed a humiliating treaty with the United States. And this historic event is called the Black Ships Incident.
Admiral Perry arrived in Japan with 4 black ships, impressively demonstrating his formidable military power, which pressured and intimidated the Japanese leadership. At that time, Japan had never encountered the might of Western warships. The Japanese military was greatly astonished by the overwhelming firepower and sheer size of the American black ships.
Admiral Perry delivered a letter from U.S. President Millard Fillmore demanding the opening of Japanese ports, permission for American merchant ships to dock, and the assurance of safety for American sailors.
The Edo shogunate, succumbing to the overwhelming military power and diplomatic pressure of the United States, was forced to sign the Treaty of Kanagawa with Admiral Perry.
This treaty included humiliating terms for the Edo shogunate, such as the opening of Japanese ports, allowing American merchant ships to dock, and granting favorable treatment to American sailors.
The Black Ships incident was a pivotal moment that ended Japan's 250-year isolationist policy and signaled the beginning of an era of interaction with Western powers.
This brought about monumental changes in Japanese society and triggered efforts toward modernization. This shocking event caused turmoil within both the imperial court and the shogunate.
Consequently, the daimyos from the southwest, who had been marginalized for 250 years under the Edo shogunate, rallied under the slogan, "Revere the Emperor, expel the barbarians," Sono Joy, and began advocating for the abolition of the shogunate.
In 1867, Tokugawa Yoshinobu, the 15th shogun of the Edo shogunate, succumbed to the rapidly changing situation and returned all authority to the emperor Taisei Hoken, the restoration of imperial rule.
Shortly thereafter, the Sonojoy faction, in collaboration with the newly enthroned Emperor Meiji, implemented sweeping national reforms, the Meiji Restoration, to address the ensuing chaos.
Realizing the power of Western nations, Japan sent delegations to learn everything from the West. Subsequently, Japan successfully adopted Western-style modernization and later undertook invasions of neighboring countries.
After victories in the First Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War, Japan gained dominance over the Korean peninsula. In 1910, Japan forcibly annexed Korea, transforming itself into a fully imperialist nation. Japan implemented the Meiji Restoration, adopted Western advanced culture and technology, and rapidly developed its military industry.
However, among the neighboring countries, Joseon on the Korean peninsula was unable to industrialize because it strengthened its isolationist policy instead of adopting an openness policy and rejected Western culture.
In this way, Japan succeeded in industrialization, but Joseon on the Korean peninsula pursued the wrong policy, which made its national power greatly inferior to Japan's, and Koreans had to suffer the humiliation of losing their country to Japan.
Thank you for watching. Japanese History Part 3 is coming soon. This is Tony. I worked alongside Sarah, Leah, and Gina. Thank you.